Hello, everybody. It is I, Mr. Cinema Junkie, and last night brought to a close another season of The Walking Dead. Once again, I was left very impressed. I am so glad that they've created this series. Um, it's been a long time since I've been that excited about a TV series. So, the first season was short. It was like, what, 7 episodes? And I was like, oh, already? And then when they said they weren't coming back until later, it was like, oh no, that takes too long. So the second season was 13 episodes, which was better, and I like it because you have camps, you have people who are for certain characters, who do like or don't like certain characters, and that's cool. I hate to say it like this. I really hate to say it like this, but it's almost like the whole Team Edward thing, I guess. You got Team Rick and Team Shane. Well, Team Shane doesn't have a leader anymore. Shane was an asshole. I mean, quite frankly, he was an asshole. But to be quite frank, he was a man who thought with his nuts. And the person controlling his nuts was that bitch Lori. Can we all agree that Lori just needs to burn? I mean, God, what a terrible person she is, man. All right, season one, her husband dies, or she's told her husband dies, and this guy helps her and her son and everyone get out of Atlanta. His friend helps him out. And she starts boinking his friend. He couldn't have been dead that long. But she's stooping his friend and not even looking like she misses him. Like, oh, que sera, sera. Give me that big sausage. And, well, then her husband Rick comes back and she's mad as hell. Oh, you told me he was dead. Stay away from us. Get away from me and my son. We are no longer your problem. He backs off. He's hurt, but he backs off. Then their son, Carl, tries to talk to him at one time, and he's like, go ask your mom and dad, and shoos him away. So what does she do? She gets in his face and tells him, you don't have to hurt him like that. Excuse me, you just told him to leave your son alone. And that is what he did, and there you are giving him shit because he did that. So little by little, she starts warming up to Shane again. He's going to take off. The problem's going to be solved. He's going to leave. And what does she do? She intervenes and tells him, don't go. Stay. Stay with us. And then he's like, did you mean it when you said stay? And she's like, yeah, I meant it. She knows that he's got a thing for her. A thing. No, she knows he has feelings for her. And yet she's gonna dick tease the guy, basically. You know? So, okay, season two rolls around, and he's still all screwed up in the head and stuff, and he still thinks that they have a chance, him and Lori. Shane still thinks him and Lori have a chance. And it comes down to her basically having a talk with him, saying whatever you felt, they're talking, and he says, what we had was real. And she's like, no, it wasn't real. It wasn't real. We find out she's pregnant, and she doesn't know whose baby it is, but she tells him in no uncertain terms, no matter what, and I had a real problem with this one, no matter what, it's Rick's baby. In other words, back off. This is our baby. We're going to raise it. He's going to be the father to it. Even if it's your baby, it's going to be his. Okay, another kick to the nuts. So you got this guy all screwed up in his head and stuff, doing all sorts of crazy, wicked shit to everybody. And then after he declares that he loves her and that he knew that they wanted each other for a long time, she tells him no. It wasn't real. Whatever it was, I don't know what that was, but it wasn't real. And so on and so forth. So now she goes to her husband Rick, starts whispering in his ear, telling him shit. Whoops. And she finds out that Rick had killed a couple of guys in a bar, and she says, "You would kill the living to protect what's yours?" And he's like, "Yes." So she says, "Shane thinks we're his. He thinks the baby is his. He thinks that we belong together." And you can tell in the look on his face that he's thinking, "Man, what am I going to do with this guy? You don't get it." She stirs up this shit in his head. And to me, when she said, "You would kill the living to protect what's yours," she's basically telling him, "You're going to have to kill Shane. You're going to have to." Instead, they have a talk and all this stuff, and they try to kill each other. And he tells them, "Look, that's it. Lori's my wife. Those are my kids. You need to accept that." Well, he doesn't accept that. But he kind of just has his little tantrums and stuff and tries to stay off by himself all alone, you know? There's obviously been a fight between these two. They're all bashed to hell. So Shane goes to fix the windmill. And what happens? Lori. Lori goes to him and tells him to come down from the windmill so she can talk to him. She's already run him through the ringer emotionally a few times already. Knowing he's unstable, she calls him down and tells him, she starts like hand stroking him verbally, telling him, "Oh, you saved me and my son from Atlanta, and I never thanked you for that, without a thought for yourself." Kind of basically telling him he's her hero, that if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't be alive. Everything he's been saying, but he kind of got over it. Well, she fills his head full of gas again, and, you know, then and the ultimate was when she said, "I don't know whose baby this is." After she told him flat out, it's Rick's baby. There's no other way around this. She says, "I don't know whose baby this is, and I have no idea how that makes you feel." Lori, leave it alone, man. Leave it alone. Why are you stirring up shit? So Shane gets it in his head that he's going to get Rick out of the picture. That he knows the only thing keeping her from him is Rick. So what does he do? He concocts this big plan. They take this prisoner that they have. He lets him go, uh, kills him, tells Rick that he got the jump on him. They go out looking for him. They split up. Glenn, Darrell go one way. Rick and Shane go the other. They're out in an open field, and Rick knows what's going on. Rick knows that he's being set up. He's like, "So this is where you plan to do it?" And he goes, "It's as good a place as any, you know." And he tells him, Shane tells him flat out, "I'm a better father than you. I'm a better husband than you. You got a broken wife and a weak son, and not the first idea how to fix it." So he's going to take over. He's going to take him out of the equation, and he's going to take over his family like he did before. Okay? Rick takes his gun out and says, "Look, man, we're not doing this." He takes his gun and offers it to Shane, like hands it to him, and starts going real careful towards him, real careful. And he takes the gun, and Rick takes out a knife and sticks him right in the heart and kills him. Didn't have a choice. In my opinion, he did exactly what he had to do. He knew that he was going to get killed one way or the other. So he killed his best friend. Had to. So in the season finale, you come to find out, they all find out that Rick killed Shane. And the thing is that Lori's all, lovey-dovey with Rick and hugging him and stuff. And he just blurts out, "I killed Shane. I had no choice. He drew down on me. He took me out into the woods to kill me." And instead of saying, "Why, that dirty son of a bitch, I'm glad you're okay, sweetie. What does she do? Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Like her heart's just been broken. Like you just took away, her spare cock. What the fuck, man? I'm like, oh, this bitch, this fucking bitch. I was so angered at that. I was just like, he's your husband, man. You, what the hell's your problem? And then, can we all agree also that Carl needs an ass whooping? Carl needs to be taken out to a damn middle of the woods, and someone needs to cut them a switch and just wear that boy out. He don't listen to nobody. He's just like, leave me alone. Don't touch me. Don't talk to me. I'm like, hey, you little fucker. I'm your dad. You don't talk to me like that. I'll backhand the taste right out your mouth. Don't you ever talk to me like that. I mean, kid starts packing a gun. He starts thinking his huevos are bigger than everybody else's. Still a little kid trying to grow up in a big man's world, thinking he can talk to adults any way he wants to. I mean, he mouthed off to Carol. Carol said it right. Carol should have been the one to snatch him up by his ear and smack him in the face once or twice. And then I kept hoping that Daryl will get a piece of that. I was hoping Daryl would go in there and just like crack that kid one to stay out of his bike. He never did find his gun, never knew what happened to it, and that was the part that really bugged me. Carl went into Daryl's bike, found a gun, put it in his waistband, walked off. Almost gets killed by a walker. Did anyone notice that he kind of dropped that gun and went flying off into the brush? I never saw him retrieve it. I never saw him pick it up. But then in the next episode, he takes the gun out of his waistband and hands it to Shane. And he confides in Shane a lot more than he confides in his own dad, which I had a problem with that too, I guess. But he says, here, I took this out of Daryl's bike. I took this out of Daryl's bag. Give it back to him. And he said, no, you take it. You take it back. You take this. You need it. So then he's like, no, I'm not touching a gun ever again. So Shane goes up to Rick, not as a friend, but to throw it in his face that his son came to him and not to his dad. And he said, here, your son gave this to me. It's Daryl's. So what does Rick do? Rick has a talk with him in the barn, but he doesn't get on him for taking people's shit or digging through stuff that isn't his or walking off into the woods by himself. None of the stuff he should have told him. He says, this is a different time, son. I wish you could have the childhood I had, but I guess that's not possible. He hands him the gun. Take it. I need you to be able to protect yourself. I need you to be able to protect. You got a bag full of guns, man. That's a stolen gun. He stole that from somebody. Beat his ass. If I ever catch you taking anybody's shit again or mouthing off to anybody in this camp, I'm going to wear you out again. That's exactly what I would have told him. But no, it's like he's rewarding him for stealing. Here, you stole this. It's yours fair and square. So those are the things I have the biggest problem with. I guess the only other thing I have a problem with, and I have to thank Steph, SPR12CR, for pointing this out. T-Dog really is a waste of a character. I mean, he has potential to be, kick ass when they let him be, but he's basically just there. He's like part of the furniture. I mean, I'm hoping season 3 they do a lot more things with him. So, we'll see. We'll see. So, yeah, we lost a few people from this season. Rest in peace, Dale. You will be missed. And that bitchin' fish hat of yours, fishing hat. He's kind of like the Zen master of the group. Brought balance to stuff. But Rick's finally grown a pair. Told everybody they can either listen to him or they can go fuck themselves. So good for him. And and Andrea's missing. Andrea's off in the woods. What the hell ending was that? Who did she meet in the woods? Did you see that? It's like one of those Dungeons and Dragons geeks got it in their head they were going to be like zombie slayers. And samurai sword and a cloak, and 2 zombies chained behind him, or in front of him, or I don't remember, but that was kind of crazy. I wonder if they're going to continue Andrea's training into zombie slaying. She already knows how to use a gun pretty good. Now she needs to know the way of the sword. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, Andrea can be a bitch sometimes. She's kind of an unstable bitch sometimes, and she very smart ass too. Very smarmy sometimes. But if I had it to decide, Lori would walk off a cliff, Carl would scream and yell after her and go, and he'd fall off the cliff, and Andrea and Rick would fall in love. Any predictions for season 3? Any at all? I have one. If you saw the very ending of the final episode, you see that just over the ridge there's something that looks like a prison. Pretty big place. And it's fortified. So, there's not going to be any problem with that. Not against the Walking Dead, who don't have too much mental capacity. But I think they're going to face off with the people in that other camp. The one the prisoner they had, the one that said, oh yeah, our group is off the highway over here. We're like 30 guys strong. I think they're going to get involved. They're going to see each other. And for some reason, I have a feeling that one of the people in that other group, because the guy said, we're a tough bunch of guys, you're going to fit right in. He told Shane that. I have a feeling that one of the guys in the other group is Daryl's brother. We never saw him die. We just know he escaped and doesn't have his hand now. So, bunch of tough guys. Daryl's brother may make a return. I know there's a lot of people out there that have read the comic book already, and they're like way advanced in the series, but I'm also learning that the show isn't following the book as closely as people would like. So, because in the CDC, excuse me, voice is going out. In the CDC, when that doctor whispered something into Rick's ear, all that time I thought he had told him that Lori was pregnant. Your wife is pregnant. He ran tests on him. He could find out if someone was pregnant, right? So I thought he whispered in his ear, your wife is pregnant. But in the second season, when she was trying to abort the baby, Rick had a shit fit showing her the pills and the packages of abortion pills, saying, this is how I find out. So he didn't know she was pregnant. So I was like, well, then what did the doctor tell him? Well, we finally find out the doctor told him that they're all infected. Whatever makes those creatures into what they are, every one of them has it. But I guess it doesn't get triggered until you die. I don't know. I don't think you just turn into one just on a whim. So, yeah, I think next season we're going to see that other camp. And I believe, for some reason, I have a feeling Daryl's brother is going to be in it. They're going to face off Daryl and his brother. I forgot his brother's name. The bigger asshole. But they're going to have to square off. He's going to have to choose sides between Blood or the camp. But I can see him and Carol hooking up. That's already a given. And Glenn's definitely dipping his pot sticker into that. I couldn't think of anything there, sorry. Giving her the cream of some young goy. Anyways, yeah, that was just a few thoughts I had on The Walking Dead, as everywhere as it was. But, yeah, definitely loving the series, loving it. Can't wait to get season 2. I want to get season 1 and season 2 both on Blu-ray. And season 2, I definitely got to have it in that zombie head. If you've seen that, it has a screwdriver in its eye. That's badass, but I know it's going to be expensive as hell. So, we will see. Thanks, guys, for listening to my incessant rambling. Take care. I will talk to you all soon.